Let me tell you something nobody wants to hear. You are suffering right now. Maybe it is a toxic job. Maybe it is a failed relationship. Maybe it is pressure from family or the weight of expectations crushing your chest. And you know what everyone tells you to do. Talk about it. Vent. Let it out. Scream into the void. Post about it online. But here is the truth. All that venting, it is keeping you stuck. I know this sounds harsh, but stick with me because what I am about to share will change how you handle every hard moment for the rest of your life. There is an ancient Japanese concept called Gaman, and it teaches you something radical: how to endure suffering with dignity, not by suppressing it, not by pretending it does not exist, but by holding it with strength, by refusing to let your pain control your behavior. In a world that celebrates emotional outbursts, Gaman is your secret weapon. Let me show you how. Gaman is a Japanese word that means enduring the unbearable with patience and dignity. It is not about being a doormat. It is not about toxic positivity. It is about emotional maturity. In Japanese culture, Gaman represents strength of character. It is the ability to face hardship without falling apart, without making your suffering everyone else's problem. Think about it this way. When a samurai faced battle, he did not cry about fear. He acknowledged it silently and moved forward. That is Gaman. It is choosing your response instead of being a slave to your emotions. Now, here is what Gaman is not. It is not stuffing your feelings down until you explode. It is not pretending everything is fine when it is not. It is conscious emotional regulation. It is feeling everything but choosing how you express it. This is where Western culture gets it wrong. We confuse emotional expression with emotional health. We think if we are not talking about our problems constantly, we are repressing them. But Gaman teaches us different. Let me get real with you. Western culture has sold you a lie. The lie that venting is healthy, that talking about your problems makes them better. But science tells a different story. Every time you vent, you activate the same stress response in your brain. You relive the pain. You deepen the neural pathway. You literally train your brain to stay stuck in victim mode. And here is the kicker. Venting gives you a hit of dopamine. It feels good in the moment. You get sympathy, you get validation, you get attention. So your brain wants more. You become addicted to complaining. Look around you. How many people do you know who talk about the same problems for years? They vent to everyone who will listen. But nothing changes. That is the venting trap. It creates the illusion of progress without actual progress. Gaman offers you a way out. Instead of broadcasting your pain, you hold it. You process it privately. You build strength through restraint, and that changes everything. Here is what happens in your brain when you practice Gaman. When you feel a strong emotion, your amygdala fires up. That is your emotional center. It wants to react immediately. But when you pause, when you choose restraint, you activate your prefrontal cortex. That is your rational brain. The more you practice this pause, the stronger that neural pathway becomes. You literally rewire your brain for resilience. Studies on emotional regulation show something powerful. People who can manage their emotions without external venting have lower cortisol levels. They experience less chronic stress. They recover from setbacks faster. This is not about suppression. Suppression means pushing feelings down without processing them. Gaman means fully feeling your emotions but choosing not to broadcast them. You acknowledge the pain. You sit with it. You let it move through you, but you do not let it control you. That is real power. That is emotional freedom. And the beautiful part, every time you practice this, you get stronger. Your capacity to handle hard things grows. You become unshakable. Let me tell you about the 2011 Tohoku earthquake in Japan, a massive 9.0 magnitude quake, followed by a devastating tsunami. Over 15,000 people died. Entire communities were destroyed. And you know what the world noticed? The incredible composure of the Japanese people. No looting. No chaos. People waited in orderly lines for supplies. They helped each other quietly. They endured unimaginable loss with dignity. That is Gaman in its purest form. Now let me bring this closer to home. I heard about a young entrepreneur who lost everything in a business failure. His savings gone, his reputation damaged, his dreams shattered. Everyone expected him to break down, to complain, to blame others. Instead, he practiced Gaman. He felt the pain privately. He processed the failure without broadcasting it. He worked in silence for 2 years. Today, he runs a successful company. But more importantly, he built unshakable character. That is what Gaman does. It transforms suffering into strength. It turns your hardest moments into your greatest teachers. Here is a truth that will hit you hard. People do not remember what happened to you. They remember how you handled it. You can go through the exact same hardship as someone else, but if you handle it with dignity, with composure, with quiet strength, people respect you differently. They trust you more. They want to be around you. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are they have been through hell, but they did not make their pain everyone else's burden. They carried it with grace. That is magnetic. That is leadership. Now contrast that with someone who complains constantly, who makes every conversation about their problems, who needs endless validation and sympathy. How do you feel around them? Drained, right? You start avoiding them. That is the cost of constant venting. But when you practice Gaman, something shifts. You become the rock that others lean on. You become the person people turn to in crisis. Not because you are perfect, but because you have proven you can handle hard things without falling apart. That is dignity, and dignity is everything. All right, enough philosophy. Let me give you a practical tool you can use today. I call it the pause protocol. Here is how it works. When something triggers you, when you feel that urge to vent, to complain, to react, you pause for 90 seconds. Why 90 seconds? Because neuroscience tells us that is how long an emotional wave lasts in your body. If you can ride it out for 90 seconds without reacting, the intensity drops. So here is what you do. Feel the emotion fully. Notice where it lives in your body. Your chest, your throat, your stomach. Breathe into that space. Count to 90 slowly. Do not speak. Do not text. Do not post. Just breathe and observe. After 90 seconds, ask yourself this question. Does expressing this emotion right now serve my highest good? Not does it feel good, does it serve you? Does it move you forward? Or does it keep you stuck? Most of the time, the answer is clear. The urge to vent passes, and you just built mental muscle. That is Gaman in action. That is you taking back control. Here is the second tool. Get a journal, not for social media, not to share with anyone. This is your private space for processing. Every time you feel overwhelmed, instead of venting to a person, you write. But here is the key. You do not just dump emotions, you follow this structure. First, write what happened without drama. Just facts. Second, write how you feel about it. Be brutally honest. No one is reading this but you. Third, write what this situation is teaching you. What strength is it building? What lesson is hidden here? Fourth, write one action you can take today to move forward, even if it is tiny. This practice does something powerful. It moves emotion from your body to the page. It creates distance between you and your pain. You stop being the victim and become the observer. You process without broadcasting. You build awareness without dependency on others for validation. Do this daily for 30 days and watch what happens. You will notice patterns. You will see your own growth. You will become your own best support system. Now, let me be crystal clear about something. Gaman is not about staying silent when you are being abused. It is not about tolerating toxicity. It is not about being a doormat. There is a difference between dignity and doormat behavior. Gaman means you do not react emotionally in the moment, but you absolutely address problems strategically. If someone crosses your boundaries, you speak up, but you do it calmly, without venting, without drama. You state your boundary clearly and enforce consequences. If you are in a toxic situation, you make a plan to leave. You do not broadcast it. You do not seek validation. You move in silence and power. Here is the rule. Speak when it creates change. Stay silent when it just creates noise. Complaining to people who cannot help you is noise. Setting boundaries with people who can change things is productive. Venting on social media is noise. Having a direct conversation with someone who hurt you is productive. Master this distinction, and you will never waste energy again. You will become ruthlessly effective in how you handle hard times. Here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, practice Gaman. No venting, no complaining, no posting about your problems on social media. When something triggers you, use the pause protocol. When you need to process, use your silent strength journal. Watch what happens. You will feel uncomfortable at first. That urge to vent will be strong, but push through it. By day 3, you will notice something shifting. You will feel more grounded, more in control. By day 7, you will be a different person. You will realize you do not need everyone to know your struggles to survive them. You are stronger than you thought. You can endure more than you imagined. And you can do it with dignity. That is Gaman. That is silent strength. In a world that rewards loud emotions, you will stand out by staying calm. In a culture addicted to venting, you will rise by staying composed. Start today, endure with dignity, build silent strength, and watch your entire life transform. Now go. You have got this.